Yeah. Yeah, it's a little bit bipolar. After that.
Meant to go 1D time frame on the charts.
I do that.
I do that all the time.
I sometimes just put it in the chat room. So yeah, the CAD is still strong. Let's see.
Yeah. All right. Ready to roll here. All right, team. We are live, ready to roll. Hope everybody's having a great day. Give it a minute here just so that more people can get on. We'll start in exactly a minute or just under since the link was just posted. Hope you're all having a good day. All right.
That's kind of it now, apart from a Fed speech in, well, at 3 o'clock my time.
Okay, we're gonna get rocking. All right, good morning, team FXG. Okay, for those of you that don't know, it's official. Today, June 1st, we officially changed our name from Forex Gentlemen to Gentleman Markets. As you all know, we've changed, over time. We trade more now than just the Forex market. It's extremely important for us to make sure that we are not just putting ourselves in one basket, which is the Forex basket. We now trade crypto, we trade stocks, as you all know. So we're now gentleman markets, not just Forex gentlemen. Okay, so we're gonna go. We're doing our marathon session today. As you all know, starting this week, we're making some changes. However, since yesterday was a long weekend, today we are doing our marathon session. Tomorrow we're gonna do our educational session, and then on Thursday we're going to do our quiz and our Q&A. Okay, starting next week, the marathon session will be on Monday. Tuesday will be educational. Wednesday will be quiz. Thursday will be reviewing trades. Okay, ones that were valid, ones that are not valid. Just going to make sure I muted everybody. Sorry, there we go. We're good now. All righty. Cool. Okay. So just an FYI there. All right, we're on here. Euro USD. First thing we do, what's the first thing we do? We have to identify fundamental direction. Now, the euro just had its core inflation rate announcement today. Okay, it came out, I believe the actual was 0.9. The expected was 0.8, so it's slightly above expected. Euro is actually seeing continued strength, however, especially paired against weaker pairs like the yen, okay, or the USD. All right, and we also have the CAD GDP growth rate. Okay, so the actual GDP was 5.6 compared to what was expected at 6.7, which is less than expected. We may see some short-term weakness in the CAD. However, we expect that to be short-term. Okay, so today is our marathon session. As you all know, we're going to go through over 22 pairs right now. We're going to do it a little bit more at my speed. All right, at Jake's speed. All right, we're going to flow through it nicely, but just remember, with every signal, there's going to be a separate analysis that's a little bit more in depth. So if this is a little bit too fast for you, if you don't know how we added these zones or this and that, don't worry, okay? Not only are the separated analysis going to be more in depth, but also you have access to FXG University, which will be changed to Gentleman Markets University, okay, which gives you explanation to that. Which, by the way, we're going through and redoing now. We're updating that since I did that about 4 years ago. Okay, so we're moving on. Euro USD, what's the fundamental direction? Euro is currently at a positive 3.2. USD is currently at a negative 1.3. Short-term direction upside, mid upside, long-term upside. We believe that Euro will be slightly stronger than the USD. USD's got inflation concerns, got government spending concerns. Okay, debt's going to become an issue, especially in the long term. All right, here we have higher time frame, lower low, which we can see prices now trading above instead of below. We have monthly upper, mid, lower zone. We have our weekly upper, weekly lower, daily mid-range. This area of battle between buy pressure and sell pressure. Okay, when we take it to the weekly time frame, what can we see? We have push, exhaustion, okay, push, separation, exhaustion, contact, continuation of push. Buy pressure broke sell pressure at our weekly upper. Okay, this is fundamental support right here. And buy pressure is now testing previous high and daily mid-range zone. Now, what's important to understand is this is a significant area of respect. We see twice sell pressure, push price for exhaustion. We know that there's horizontal historical sell pressure. So buy pressure needs to break this level of sensitivity before we look to the upside. We need to see a push, exhaustion before we even consider a continuation of push to our monthly upper zone. Moving on to Euro CAD. Euro is currently at a positive 3.2. CAD is currently at a positive 6.7. Okay, so positive 3.2. Fighting against positive 6.7. Euro is weaker, short-term direction downside, mid-term downside, long-term also downside. Canadian dollar is going to move up with the price of crude oil, okay? Especially as inflation hits, okay? We can do that. There we go. Especially as inflation hits, we will see the price of crude move to the upside. Canadian dollar should follow and gain strength with that. We believe long-term direction downside. Okay, so since short, midterm, long-term direction is downside, we're only looking for entries where? That's right, to the downside. Here we have our monthly zones, but prices in consolidation in between these two monthly zones. So for simplicity's sake, we're going to call this our monthly upper and our monthly lower. Okay, monthly upper, monthly lower, weekly upper, weekly lower, daily upper, daily lower, area of battle between buy pressure and sell pressure. We see a ton of weakness in the euro against the CAD, as expected, as oil prices continue to rise. So we have sell pressure beat buy pressure at our weekly upper, free range to our weekly lower, right? Because if sell pressure has strength to break buy pressure at our weekly, it will break at our dailies. All right, so then we had our new contact. We had impulse to the upside, right? Take profits, SLs, limit orders, market orders, stop orders. Impulse to the upside before then a retest to the downside as expected. Now, what are we going to be waiting here for entry? What do we need to wait for? We need to wait for price to break its consolidation level, push, exhaustion, continuation push. Here we have lower time frame consolidation, okay, at area sensitivity. So what's happening here is buy sensitivity saying, KK, it's our weekly zone, time to move to the upside. Sell pressure saying, no, we got fundamental support. All right, so what's going to happen here? We're waiting for push, exhaustion, price action, entry confirmation, continuation push, TP, final take profit at our monthly zone where price will find its next level of significant buy pressure. Moving on to Euro Aussie. Okay, moving on to Euro Aussie here. Let's get rid of these lower time frames, ones. Okay, boom. All right. Euro Aussie. Euro is currently, as we know, at a positive 3.2. Aussie is currently at a negative 1.2. Positive 3.2, negative 1.2. Pen is really slow. Okay, so short-term upside, midterm upside. No, you know what? Short-term upside, midterm, long-term are flat. Both these pairs, both these currencies are going to gain strength as the market continues to open. We're not 100% sure as to who will have more strength than the other. Okay, so what are we seeing here? We're seeing sell pressure off our monthly zone, push. Okay, strong move to the downside as the Aussie started to gain strength against the euro. Okay, and why was the Aussie gaining strength against the euro here? What happened here? Well, Australia, New Zealand, they contained COVID better than anybody else, which is why they had strength over most of the pairs, right? So we see sell pressure broke buy pressure at its monthly, but also higher time frame uptrend. We have a push. What are we in now? Higher time frame exhaustion. The euro is also stronger than the Aussie at the moment. So we can believe that exhaustion is going to continue and retest at least the previous high before it then sees its impulse to the downside. However, this pair just for me is not attractive. It's not something I'm looking at right now. We need some separation and consistency here. You know, one week the euro is stronger, the next one the Aussie is stronger. Okay, we need consistency here in terms of fundamental strength. We're moving on. Just doesn't look good in my opinion. Okay, there's better options out there. Okay, money management is what it's about. All right. Because we only have a certain amount of margin, right? There's no infinite margin. Okay, so euro is at a positive 3.2, as we already know. Swiss franc is currently at a positive 1. Short-term direction upside, mid, upside, long-term Yeah, long-term upside. The reason why is Swiss franc is a safe haven status. So as the market starts to gain strength, Swiss franc will eventually weaken. Now, why is Swiss franc at a positive one right now? Well, first off, Swiss franc has been finding more strength than the yen. Okay. So as the Swiss franc right now and the Japanese yen are the two strongest safe havens, we know that the Swiss franc is staying stronger than the yen for the most part. And also on top of that, we know that there's this new variant coming out. There's still uncertainty. Gold is seeing pressure to the upside. So Swiss franc is kind of seeing that strength to the upside as well. Gold is the number one safe haven. Swiss franc and yen are the number one safe havens just in terms of currency. Okay, but gold is the number one safe haven. Gold is seeing strength. We're currently at a positive 6.4, and we have been positive for a while. Swiss franc will follow. Okay. So monthly time frame, monthly upper, monthly lower, weekly upper, weekly lower, daily mid-range. Really ugly chart on the monthly here. Okay, but you add zones where the zones aren't, not just because it looks pretty. Okay, so weekly upper, weekly lower, daily mid-range, 4H upper, 4H lower, just area of battle between buy pressure and sell pressure. Okay, let's now take it to the daily. All right, so what are we looking at here? I mean, it makes sense, right? We're seeing moves to the downside. Okay, this is showing strength in the Swiss franc against the euro. The euro now has temporary strength against the Swiss franc, but it wasn't the case in the last few days. Okay, and now we're seeing what we expect, consolidation, right? We're seeing another level. And why is this? Well, let's just add just for visual purposes. Okay, so euro is now stronger than the Swiss franc, even though it's been weaker in the past. Okay, as you can see, it was weaker. What's happening now? Horizontal buy pressure, horizontal sell pressure. What's happening? Consolidation before then someone takes control. Okay, so for us to enter euro Swiss franc, we need to see either a break back to the upside or push exhaustion to the downside, quick in, quick outs. We will monitor this trade. However, it's not that sexy. Okay, it's not something where I am necessarily too excited about. Okay. Euro yen, as you all know, we're currently in this trade. We're up about 69.7 pips on this, and we have about double that to go. Okay, more than that. All right, so we're just this is just trade management here. We're gonna talk about this. Okay, monthly upper, monthly lower, weekly upper, weekly lower. Euro is currently at a positive 3.2. Yen is currently at a negative 4.8. Short-term direction upside, long-term direction upside. Okay, yen Swiss franc is a safe haven. All right, so it will be pinned down as the markets tend to and the economy open up. All right, buy pressure. I mean, look, push, exhaust. I mean, look at that, right? In simplicity, for those of you that are really just new to trading, the number one thing you have to understand is where's the current going? It's very simple. The current's to the upside, right? How many bearish candles have you seen in the last months, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we're going to go into 9 months of not having one bearish candle close on the monthly time frame. Where do you want to enter? To the upside or to the downside? That's right, to the upside. All right. Buy pressure breaking our daily lower, free range to our daily upper, assuming fundamentals stay the same, and they should. I do not believe the yen is going to gain strength. All right. So we have that move to the upside as expected, which we know, push. We failed to see exhaustion because we have lower time frame consolidation. Okay. And we're likely going to make our way push, and then we're going to see another move to the downside before a continuation move. All right, so something of this nature. All right, here we have the push to the upside, consolidation. As you all know, when price fails to come back for exhaustion, it means that there's buy pressure. Here we have horizontal buy pressure, meaning horizontal sell pressure, which is lower time frame consolidation. Very common after a push to the upside when fundamentals are strong to the upside. We're now going to see a break of consolidation, an extension, and then we will see exhaustion before then a continuation move. Many times price will do this. This is a very, very popular formation. Okay, ignore the zones. Whenever there's a push, consolidation, then you have another push, and then you will have either exhaustion and a continuation move, or you'll have stop hunt to the downside. All right. So many times, again, push, consolidation. Many people will enter to the upside, extension, but then there will always many times be an exhaustion before a continuation move. okay? And that's due to volume, okay? Whenever we see push, consolidation, continuational push, this usually happens high volume hours. This exhaustion, or retest or pullback, whatever you want to call it, usually happens during low market hours, low volume hours. And then the continuational push will be when London market opens again. That's usually what happens, okay? So again, what are we going to see? We're going to see push, then we're going to see exhaustion, and then we're going to have continuational move. For those of you that are new and not in this trade, okay, as far as re-entry goes, maybe something of this nature once we get completion of exhaustion. SL slightly below, okay? And then move to the upside, all right? However, if you're in since exhaustion at 4H zone, like the rest of us, just maybe nothing to do, okay? SL should be at entry, and we're moving to the upside. All right, moving on from Euro Yen to Euro Kiwi. All right. Euro positive 3.2. Kiwi is currently at a negative 1.1. Short-term direction upside. Midterm, long-term is flat. Both these will gain strength. And there's been inconsistency. 1 week Euro, Kiwi stronger, next one Euro stronger. All right. When we go to the weekly time frame here, or actually we should identify zones for sure. Okay. So as you can see, here's our monthly upper, monthly mid, monthly lower zone. But since pricing is playing in between these two zones, we'll call this monthly upper, monthly lower. Weekly upper, weekly lower. Okay. We have sell pressure from our monthly upper zone, move to the downside. Okay, we know that fundamental shifted. All right, we know that the Kiwi, just like the Aussie, had a lot of strength against the Kiwi over time, the Euro over time, because just like Australia, it did well with the virus and the containment of the virus. So the economy was doing better. All right, so we're now seeing consolidation. Okay, we have touch of weekly zone, impulse to the upside, failure of a continuational push, failure of breaking back above previous high. No one has control. One day Euro stronger, the next day Yen is strong, Kiwi stronger. Okay, we're going to see consolidation off this pair. We might find an entry for strategy 2. Okay, however, right now for strategy 1, we're not looking at Euro Kiwi. We are keeping an eye on it for strategy 2. Potential, if we see more consolidation, we may look to enter the limit orders at the tops and bottoms. Okay. Moving on here to Aussie Cad now. We're making our way to the Aussie pairs. Okay, Aussie Cad, monthly time frame. All right, simplify the complicated. Okay, we have higher time frame, lower lows, downtrend. We have obviously here we strengthened the Cad against the Aussie as expected. The Cad's been a strong pair for a long time. All right, when we go to the weekly time frame here. I always press stuff. I don't even know what I'm pressing. Sometimes. All right. Let's remove what was. Okay. So, Aussie Cad, let's take it back to the weekly here. Makes sense that we're seeing a move to the downside, right? Why is that? Because the Canadian dollar is stronger than the Aussie. Buy pressure is having no problem breaking area sensitivity. We're now testing what? Monthly zone. Are we looking to the downside when price is about to reach its monthly zone? Absolutely not. And it will. There will be a test, right? There will be a test to the downside. However, we're not looking for an entry to the downside when our monthly zone is so close. There's no room there to profit. The only way this would be a profitable entry is for strategy 2, if price comes and makes contact again, for an impulse to the downside. However, we're not making a test and a push of our monthly zone, or we don't want to be in here because we know that at any time, okay, buy pressure will come and change direction. Moving on from Aussie Cad. Okay, we're now moving on to Aussie USD. Monthly time frame. All right, onto the monthly time frame. Again, monthly upper, monthly lower, weekly upper, weekly lower. Here's our daily mid-range zone in between our monthly and our weeklies. Now, Aussie is currently at a negative 1.2. US dollar is currently at a negative 1.3. Fundamental direction is flat. Short-term direction is flat, as we know. That's what's happening right now. Mid-term, long-term, I would say Aussie is going to be a bit stronger than the euro, than the USD. Again, US has a lot of issues to figure out in the near future. Now, Since fundamentals are flat, we're looking for strategy 2 here. Okay, strategy 2 is buy pressure has broken above its weekly zone. Okay, so what was resistance is now support. We have consolidations, horizontal sell pressure, horizontal buy pressure. This makes sense. Buy pressure won't have enough power to break its daily mid-range zone to the upside. There's no fundamental support. And sell pressure will sure as hell not have enough sellers to break its weekly back to the downside because there's no fundamental support to the downside. And that's when you get consolidation, giving us opportunity for entry of buy limit orders. So we're looking for contact to previous low, for a buy limit order to previous high, sell limit order, buy limit order. Okay, we're looking strategy 2 here. We're keeping a close eye on Aussie USD. We're moving on to Aussie Yen. Okay. Now we know that the yen is weak, right? We know that even though the Aussie is stronger than the yen, okay, we know that it's still weak. Okay, Australian dollar is still at a negative 1.2. Yen is also at a negative 4.8, which is why we're still seeing price move to the upside because it's still stronger than the yen. However, we know that what? We know that the CAD is stronger than the Aussie. We know that Euro is stronger than the Aussie. We know that the Swiss franc is stronger than the Aussie, pound, and Kiwi stronger than the Aussie. So any of those pairs paired against the yen would probably be a better move to the upside than on Aussie yen. Okay, so whenever you see an options, multiple options, you want to know who's the strongest. Okay, so strong move to the upside. We know that Aussie's seeing more weakness as of late than it has been recently in the past. All right, and we see a battle here. Obviously, we know that price made a push. We had a level of consolidation, push, exhaustion. We may see now a continuational push. Let's take a quick look at the daily. Okay, so what we can see is that price is respecting area sensitivity. We're going to keep an eye on this, but again, when we understand that the CAD is stronger than the Aussie, that Euro is stronger, that Swiss franc is stronger, that pound is stronger, okay, we know that any of these pairs paired against the yen will have a greater move to the upside than Aussie paired against the yen because the Aussie's weaker than all four of these pairs. All right, so Aussie yen, we can keep an eye on this bad boy. If we do see what we like to see, we may make a move to the upside, but if that happens, we'll probably find another entry on another pair paired against the yen to the upside. Okay, so moving on from Aussie yen, we're now going to take it to Aussie Kiwi. Okay, onto Aussie Kiwi. All right, so Aussie's currently at a negative 1.2. Okay, Kiwi's currently at negative 1.1. Fundamental direction is flat. This is not enough of a separation. Okay, so short term is flat, mid-term flat, long-term flat. Aussie tends to follow Kiwi tends to follow the Australian dollar to the upside or to the downside. Australia's economy is bigger than New Zealand's economy, so when Australian dollar is strong, the Kiwi tends to be slightly strong but slightly weaker than the Aussie. And when the Australian dollar is weak, Kiwi tends to be weak but slightly stronger than the Aussie. Okay, fundamental is flat. Okay, that brings us to potential strategy 2. We know what? Monthly upper, monthly lower, weekly upper, weekly lower, daily mid-range zone. Okay, as we now take it to the weekly time frame, okay, we see sell pressure making its way to its weekly lower zone, and now we're seeing buy pressure come back in. Okay, so when we take it to the daily time frame, we're seeing some buy sensitivity come back in. Okay, if we see an impulse retest, okay, we're going to look for strategy 2, buy limit order to mid-range zone. Okay, so Aussie Kiwi, we're going to keep that on the burner. We're now taking it to Swiss franc yen. Okay, both safe haven status is exact, but we know what? That the Swiss franc is stronger than the yen and has been for a while. We can remove the zones that we don't need anymore. Okay. Let's remove this too. That's our daily zone. Okay, so what do we do for simplicity? Monthly time frame, Swiss franc is at a positive 1, yen is at negative 4.8. Short-term direction upside, mid, long-term upside. We're finding that the Swiss franc, even when weak, still tends to be stronger than the yen, and it has been for quite some time. As you can see, the Swiss franc is stronger than the yen. All right, so buy pressure broke sell pressure at our monthly zone. It's got free range to its weekly. All right, when we take it to the weekly time frame, we can see that there's not much in terms of exhaustion. Let's take it to the daily. Okay, let's actually re-add our daily mid-range zone for a sec. I just want to see if price is going to come back. Historical sensitivity at this level is not too beautiful, okay? Okay, there's not much there to go off of, all right? But what we do know is that it's likely 50% of the distance. We can see that break to the upside, okay, with this bullish move, all right? Let's see here quickly, daily time frame. Yeah, as you can see, we have sell pressure, horizontal sell pressure, push, exhaustion. We're now going to look for continuation move to the upside on Swiss franc yen, okay? However, again, the CAD is stronger than the yen and the euro is stronger than the yen. We are already in euro yen out to the upside, where we would look for CAD yen to the upside over Swiss franc yen. All right, we're going to now go to USD CAD. All right. USD CAD. Like this, boom, okay. USD negative 1.3, Canadian dollar positive 6.7, short-term downside, mid-term downside, long-term downside, paired against the CAD, right? Anything paired against the CAD is likely going to see weakness in terms of the long-term. All right, so what are we going to see here? We're going to see what? Sell pressure broke buy pressure at its monthly, broke at its daily. It's got free range where next? That's right, to its weekly before its next significant level of buy sensitivity. We are going to look for that entry to the downside. So what are we seeing here? Sell pressure makes its way to its daily. Yes, we see some buy pressure. As we can see, there's a level of battle at this level, at this area, but there's no real impulse to the upside. There's definitely no exhaustion telling us continuational sell pressure and fundamental support to the downside. When we take it to the daily, okay, we're finally starting to see a break of this consolidation. Just for visual purposes, where is consolidation, or at least the lower level of consolidation? It's where our zone is, correct? As we can see, we're having horizontal buy pressure, okay? Buy pressure, buy pressure, buy pressure, buy pressure. We now need to wait for a push, exhaustion, price action, entry confirmation. Continuation move to our weekly zone. USD CAD, stay patient. We will likely find potential entry to the downside on this one. All right, USD Yen, what do we know? That the yen is much stronger than the weaker than the USD at the moment. It's weaker than everybody. Okay, but the USD, again, just like the Aussie, it's not the strongest pair against the yen. There's better options, but again, we'll go through the analysis. All right, USD is at a negative 1.3. Yen is at currently a negative 4.8. Short-term upside, mid-term upside, long-term upside as it's paired against the yen, okay? Monthly upper, monthly lower, weekly mid-range, daily upper, daily lower. Okay, when we take it to the weekly time frame. All right, what's this? Push, exhaustion, continuational push we're now seeing. Okay, let's now take it to the daily time frame. All right, we see price break area sensitivity, which is our 4H lower. Okay, as we can see here, horizontal sell pressure, resistance is now becoming support. We're looking for a quick in, quick out to previous high. Before then, we see an exhaustion and then potential continuational move. So if we get what we need, team, okay, we're keeping a close eye on this bad boy. All right, exhaustion was pretty strong. All right, so we're waiting for double confirmation. All right, but if we get what we need, we're looking for a move to the upside to previous high here. Okay, to our 4H upper. All right, moving on from USD Yen, we're now taking it to USD Swiss franc. Both pairs are weak, right? USD is currently at a 1.3. Swiss franc is currently at a positive 1, which is not that strong. Okay. So what do we see? We see that there's a move back to the downside, right? This just doesn't look good, right? When we take a look at the monthly time frame, I mean, take a look at the price action, especially as of recently, right? Take a look, like, what is this, right? What is this? Okay, what is this garbage? Stop hunt, stop hunt, stop hunt. Okay, that's because fundamentals are flippy floppy. All right, we don't really like it. This pair is not sexy to me at all. USD Swiss franc, we're moving on. Okay, CAD Yen should be interesting here for another move to the upside. Now, as you all know, some of you are riding this bad boy nicely. we've been, as you all know, there has been a ride on the CAD Yen. We've been saying upside, upside, upside for a long time, CAD Yen. We know that until price reaches this monthly zone, it's not going to see its next area of significant sell pressure. Okay, when we take it to the weekly time frame, what can we see? Again, push, exhaustion, continuation push. Okay, no impulse. We finally see a minor impulse at our 4H, and then now a continuation move. We're not going to see any sell sensitivity until our monthly zone. So there is some space here to capitalize if you're not already in this pair. Okay, I know some of you, okay, have been riding this thing since our weekly lower zone. So amazing. All right. Here we have what? Push, exhaustion, potential continuational move. We now need a way for price to break previous high. Okay. So all right. Continuation move to the upside. So we're waiting for previous high. We will see exhaustion during low market hours. And then we're going to see continuation move to our monthly if you are not already in this pair. Okay. CAD Yen, moving on. CAD Swiss franc. Okay. CAD's positive 6.7. Swiss franc is currently at a positive 1. We know that price is making its way to the upside. Okay. Let's take it to the weekly for a sec. Okay, push, exhaustion. What's happening now? Price is making a continuation move. All right. Problem is it's failing to break previous high. All right. So I'm going to wait for here on CAD Swiss franc. Wait for however long it takes. Push, exhaustion. We're making our way to our weekly. So we're going to look to capitalize in between our weekly and our previous high and previous high.